Hi, Staff Sergeant Bull. My wife and I have raised our son in a Christian home. We've always stressed the importance of Christianity and even sent our son to a Christian school throughout his entire life. Unfortunately, he's lived through 2 church splits which had taken their toll on his faith. Prior to him leaving for boot camp, he was living a very backslidden life and claimed no part of a Christian lifestyle. I was very reluctant about him joining the Marines. I surmised by joining the Marines, he was throwing away any possibility of getting back into church and becoming a Christian. For the past 3 or 4 years, he had dreamed of becoming a Marine. I dragged my feet and discouraged it the whole time, hoping it was just a phase he was going through. He begged and begged for me to sign the papers for him when he turned 17. I decided to outsmart him and put the ball in his court. So I told him if he would double up on his schoolwork and graduate early, I'd consider it. Well, he outsmarted me and did just what I said. He graduated high school at 16 years old, and now I was stuck. I very reluctantly signed the papers 2 days after his 17th birthday. When he shipped out to boot camp, I was extremely depressed. I just knew that I had lost any hope of my son getting back into church, at least until he was out of the Marines. My faith had dwindled. I failed to realize that God had things under control. God put my son in a platoon whose senior drill instructor was a Christian? Who'd have thunk it? Certainly not me. Below, I included an excerpt from my son's first letter home. Upon reading his words, my wife and I bawled our eyes out with joy, and I wanted to share part of his letter with you. My son writes, I was having an extremely difficult time up until Sunday, November 20th, 2005. Sunday, we went to church. We initially meet in the auditorium, and then a chaplain reads off religions, and you go to that service at another location. So he read off Pentecostal. I went to that, extremely skeptical. I was having a really hard time. So I sat down, and an Air Force chaplain started talking. And come to find out, he pastors an Assembly of God church in San Diego. And he was just explaining his mission of having services at Marine Corps Recruit Depot, San Diego. I was very down and having a hard time. But he said something that struck me. He said, sometimes God puts you through something extremely hard to wake you up. And then he had recruits testify. There was one who had been there 15 weeks and was leaving without the title of Marine for medical reasons. Normally, anyone would have come close to suicide if that happened. But he stood up and said he thanked God for putting him through that. And he said it snapped him out of his backslidden state. He realized that even though he didn't get the title Marine, he found God in the process. And another said he decided to become a preacher in the Marines because he just got saved. I was shocked that there were multiple recruits who were Christians. Then we sang songs, and in between songs, the preacher read a chapter. It was Psalms 34, verses 1 through 8. But verse 6 was just thrown in my face. It says, this poor man cried out, and the Lord heard him and saved him from all his troubles. And then the next song started, but I just lost it, and I couldn't hold it back. I just looked up and cried, God, save this poor man. That's all I could say. And instantly, he saved me and blessed me. I felt whole and okay. I went down to the front with all the other recruits that were praying and threw up my hands and started praying. After that, I really haven't had any problems. I know something extremely positive came out of the Marines. Maybe going to boot camp right now was God's will. Maybe it was what I needed to wake me up. I realize I can't do this on my own. I can't go through life on my own. And I realize there are many Christian Marines. My senior DI is. He hasn't cursed a single time. I thought it was weird until he encouraged everyone to go to church and said, God will help you. He got saved on deployment. There was a former Marine who actually preached and said something that stuck. In drill, we call it the repent. It's where the whole platoon does an about face. Then he said, to repent isn't feeling sorry, it's a complete turnaround. I've repented. Not just a Polly want a cracker prayer, but God's had something to help me in all this. Well, your Christian lifestyle has influenced yet another man, my son. I want to thank you with all my heart, and I can't wait to meet you next week face to face. I'll do my best to shake your hand, though, and not hug your neck and wrinkle your uniform. Staff Sergeant Bull, thank you for what you've done for my son and for my family. May God bless you. Scott W. Stamps, someone who cares.